Hey guys, what's going on? Yes, you're probably looking at these G.I. Joe figures and you're thinking to yourself, hey, wait a minute. You reviewed these figures before, and yes, I have. I'm not actually going back and reviewing them, but the reason why I've got these guys on display is only fitting because last night was premiere night of the G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra movie. And being a huge G.I. Joe fan that I am, I actually went last night with the missus and I saw G.I. Joe. Now, the whole summer has been riddled with blockbusters and big budget movies. We've had Terminator, we've had Star Trek, Wolverine, we've had Bruno. I don't even know if you want to consider that. Of course, we had Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and now finally we've got G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. I haven't done actually reviews on the other movies because I really wasn't originally going to do that. But I've had a couple of requests of people ask me what I thought of certain movies, so I figured, hey, why not do a review of what I thought of G.I. Joe? Now, granted that I might have a biased opinion towards this, being that, like I said, huge G.I. Joe fan. I've been a G.I. Joe fan since 1984, and so I was, what, six or so? And like I said, I've always loved G.I. Joe, and if you ask me, I'm one of the purists that like the 80s G.I. Joe more than anything else, so I think, if anything, hopefully I can give a good, honest opinion of what I thought of the movie. Now, granted, it's not going to be any spoilers here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this review up into two parts. So the first part, I'm just going to talk about the movie spoiler-free. Then we're going to take a brief intermission. I don't have any music because my budget isn't, I don't have the budget for it. And then I'm going to do almost a similar review right afterwards, but then I'm going to contain spoilers in with it. So it will give you guys a chance to, for those that haven't seen the movie, you can watch my first part review. Those who have seen the movie, you can see my second part review. Or you can watch the whole thing if you want. So, without any delay, let's get right into the review. Like I said, I saw G.I. Joe the movie last night, G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. And I saw the 6:30 movie, the 6:30 showing. Rather strange, though, that the G.I. Joe seems to have gotten crapped on right from the very beginning that this movie was going to be coming out. I did find it funny that when Transformers Revenge of the Fallen came out, at least in where I'm located, it was released in the bigger, nicer looking movie theater. And I think it was released in 4 or 5 theaters at once, and the times were like 5:30, 5:45, 6 o'clock, 6:25. Basically, you had about 15 showings for this movie. I did find it funny when I saw G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe wasn't at the cooler theater, but instead it was at the less popular, you only go there if you really have to theater. And the times for the movie were like 4:30, 6:30, 8:30, 9:30, and I think 9:30 might have been the last one. So, I mean, really, to me, they haven't supported this movie at all. That aside, though, let's talk about the movie itself. This, as I mentioned, will be a non-spoiler part of the review. I'm basically going to give you the synopsis of the movie as you would have seen in the trailer. So this is not necessarily Cobra right off the bat. This is now Mars Industries and Mars Tech in the early stages before Cobra comes together, kind of thing, and they're working on a nanite. I think they actually call it in the movie. I'm trying to remember what they actually call it. Whether it's nanobite, I think that sounds right. But basically, nanobites, same as nanites, same as all the other little nanos, are basically these little microscopic machines, and what they can do is they can eat metal. And so basically there's this threat that these nano weapons are going to be used, and of course G.I. Joe has to go in there and stop them. In the way of the movie itself, I thought the movie was paced out really, really well, and I didn't actually do a review of my Transformers Revenge of the Fallen opinion, because had I done a review of that movie, I think I would have really crapped all over that movie. I didn't mind it the first time I saw Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. There was a lot of things that bothered me about the movie, but the second time I saw it, I really hated the movie. And as much as I didn't like the really cheesy camera work, the lighting, everything was really close up that you couldn't see what was going on. I think G.I. Joe actually did the opposite. The lighting was enough that, it wasn't hard on the eyes. I thought the action was really done well. I have to actually say, though, that from the very beginning of this movie doesn't really let up action-wise. I mean, it's action-packed right from the beginning all the way right to the very end. Lots of great action to it. CG is used, but I don't think it's used on a silly level that Transformers, I think. Some movies just use CG so much. G.I. Joe did use a lot of CG, and they didn't use they didn't use a lot of props and models and stuff. They did rely a lot on CG, but I think it was done well. Standout characters, I think, in this movie were Storm Shadow was done brilliantly. I thought Storm Shadow did a great job. The actor who played him, and I'm really sorry if I don't remember his name, but the actor that portrayed Storm Shadow did an excellent job. Snake Eyes, yes, I don't like the mouth part on Snake Eyes. I still didn't like it when I was watching the movie, but Ray Parker did a brilliant job as Snake Eyes. I actually did warm up to Destro a bit as well. I mean, I didn't like Destro when I was watching the trailer, but I think I warmed up to Destro quite a bit in this. Duke, I thought Duke was great. Duke, for a first movie with the origins and talking about everybody joining G.I. Joe, I think Duke was portrayed perfectly. And keep in mind, this is an 80s kid talking here. But I think the real standout character, I think, in this movie, and I'll just pull her out here, the real standout character for me was the Baroness. Sienna Miller did an awesome job at Baroness, and I know walking into the movie, I was already disappointed the fact that she didn't have an accent, but now having seen the movie, I think Sienna Miller was great as Baroness. The lines, the dialogue, and the script, I don't find was cheesy. I know Transformers had a lot of cheese to it, but G.I. Joe, I think, was written pretty decent. I mean, the dialogue between the guys seemed pretty, like, it would seem like everyday dialogue. It didn't seem like it was a script, in a lot of cases at least. Like I said, the action was great. One of the big problems I think people had with going into the movie was, I think, the accelerator suits. I have to actually tell you guys, though, the accelerator suits do not play a large role in the movie at all. In fact, aside from the Paris scene, and I really don't think this is a spoiler, but aside from the Paris scene, you really don't see anything else in the way of the accelerator suits. So don't think that going into this movie it's going to be cheesy, suits with... that's not the case. The action was realistic to some degree. They put enough sci-fi tech into it that you could believe it, kind of thing. But I love this movie. I thought it was done really well, and like I said, being a G.I. Joe buff myself, I went in with huge expectations, and if the missus was here, she'd say the same thing. I walked in with huge expectations of the movie. And I think I walked away from the movie, and I even said to her too, I walked away from the movie and I really wanted to see more. When I walked away from Transformers, I was thankful that it was over. But really great scenes, great acting, a lot of standout performances. I mean, definitely they set it up for a sequel, and I think now that they've established everyone in the movie, I'm looking forward to a good franchise out of this series. Guys, take it from me. I mean, I'm a stickler for details. Take it from me. Going into this movie, you guys will have expectations, and I think they'll be met across the board. This movie was action-packed. There was some acting, I think, that kind of was a little hokey. Unfortunately, I think Hawk's character, I don't know if it necessarily, I would chalk it up to the actor that played him, but some of the writing for Hawk was a little corny. I thought Viggo Mortensen, Arnold Vosloo, I thought Arnold Vosloo was a pretty good Zartan. He wasn't in the movie very much, but I think Arnold Vosloo was a good Zartan. Like I said, across the board, great action movie. Lots of explosions. One problem I had with Wolverine, actually, and you know what, maybe I'll wrap this. I'm going to wrap this up here, guys. But basically, great movie. I would definitely recommend it. I'm actually going to post my spoiler review of this movie as a separate video, just due to the time here. So I definitely would say check it out if you guys see it, if you guys want to see it. Probably would give it maybe an 8.5 out of 10, but definitely would recommend it. For those who have seen the movie, if you want to just check out my spoiler-ridden review, and I'll see you guys next time.